Hello, Fear the Meerkat here. Let's continue with Final Fantasy VI Advance. So yeah, basically this train is full of ghosts. And that's... well, you'll understand the rest later, but... yeah. There's a reasonably high random encounter rate, which is quite irritating. I would advise you to continue using Blitz, to be honest. I don't really see why you wouldn't. It doesn't really cost you anything. You can use Cyan's other special attack, Bushido. You can use his Bushido, but it's probably not worth it, to be honest. Doesn't really improve his attack enough, but basically you don't need it. You don't need it, and because you don't need it, and it does allow the enemy to attack him, it's not worth it. Okay, the engine is on the left. Do not go to the right, or you just have more random encounters. Alright, these creatures can affect your status. And again, as I said, it's probably worth using Blitz. I must have put the sequencing wrong there, never mind. Eventually, Sabin will learn another Blitz attack, but I'll stick with this one for the moment. Quite like the music in this. See, this is what some ghosts will agree to help you out, and some of them won't, and do this instead. I think for the moment I'm not going to deliberately search for ghosts that will help me. I will just see if I happen to encounter one, because those that don't help you will hurt you, and it doesn't really seem worth it, considering the fact that I do actually have limited amount of health potions at this point. So you're gonna get plenty of chance to level up with these guys, so what I won't give Trevor cure magic. I could cure magic, or just cure magic. Who knows? Fortunately, these things often drop high potions, or so. That's not bad, but it's useful to have. Now, one of these lets you buy stuff, but again, it's a question of which one. I'm probably not behaving very sensibly here. I might cut out some battles, but you know that by now. I don't need to comment on it every time. As far as I know, time freeze will stop as soon as you've won the battle. So. Yeah, so time freeze only lasts for a limited amount of time. But see how often I'm having to use high potions here. Ah, right, yes. These ghosts are quite useful. They will fight, they will do a reasonable attack. But what they can also do is possess other things, including other ghosts. And what that does is it removes your partner, who's just decided to join you, this friendly ghost, presumably. But it also removes the enemy that's been possessed. So. I would suggest just using normal attacks with the ghost that's just accompanied you, unless you get into real trouble. If you get into real trouble, then possess the other ghost. Anyway, now is a great time to buy potions and high potions. I would highly recommend doing this, because the last time I played this, I barely got out alive, so... you would have thought green cherries would be useful here, but actually I haven't needed to use them a lot, so... whilst I'm here, I'm just going to get a couple of those, but yeah, you don't really need anything else that much. I'm not going to get a shuriken right now, because... I'm not actually sure how helpful. Well, I'll get one. There we go, and I can at least find out what that one does. But now that we've got a ghost that can possess other ghosts, and we bought these things, you shouldn't need to fight any of the ghosts that are just floating around. So. See, he does a reasonable amount of damage. I like this moving background behind the train. That's quite cool. And yes, the ghost can be hurt. So. For reasons that are beyond me, although they're quite powerful, you don't actually get a lot of experience points for these enemies. I'm not sure why I've come up here, it's a waste of my time, but never mind. So yeah, there's a lot of them here, and I recommend avoiding them all. Some of Cyan's attacks seem to make their health drain anyway, either it's not Bushido, so... I know there's some way to get through here, I just don't know what it is. So you only got 14 experience points for that. Ah yes, I think you're supposed to go back to here and attack him. See, I don't know why he just gives you 16 experience points. Ah, looks like we're in trouble here. I'll admit, if you have to have a ghost train, make it look really decrepit and spooky and quite old-fashioned as well. It's just the ideal atmosphere, I think, for a ghost train. Especially one with real ghosts in it. And yeah, I really like the way that you can actually see and kind of sense the movement here. I think I could be wrong, you know. This is just my personal opinion, and feel free to disagree with me, but I think they've really pushed the limits of what the Game Boy Advance can do here with this movement and the way the game looks. It's not a primitive looking game, considering the fact that it's on a handheld console and it's probably about 10 years old by now, this game, so I would assume they want to trap us and not kill us. I mean, it doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to kill us, because the idea is just presumably to keep us on the train until we reach the final destination, whatever that is. At least we don't have to watch Final Destination. Mediocre film at best. Anyway, that's not really why I'm here. I'm supposed to be showing you how to play this game. Seriously though, horror games are... sorry, not horror games. Some horror games are quite good. Horror films are generally mediocre. There's a few good ones, but recent ones particularly are just kind of... The plot doesn't work. I've never been very good at switching off my brain whilst I'm watching a film. I have done film studies course, so that doesn't help. But yeah, I've never been good at switching my brain off, and a lot of horror films just don't make a lot of sense. And that's ignoring the really awful acting that some of them have. And I think something that could kind of fix that is if they had horror where you don't really see the supernatural creatures, where it's all kind of kept hidden and kept in the dark. I think that works better, because whatever you see on screen is never going to be as scary as what you can imagine, unless you're a very, very unimaginative person. But also, if you don't really understand what's going on in the film, I think that helps to make it scarier. I think not enough horror films do that. Anyway, as I say, not supposed to be talking about that. I don't know why it says thou. Guess it's just a style. I don't know, I mean, there's a suggestion, since they haven't really done the castle, they're not really familiar with the machines that they encounter. Anyway, there's a suggestion that the people who live around the castle are less technically advanced than everyone else in this world, so maybe their language is at a kind of medieval point rather than a more modern technological kind of point. The face of the ghost looks really creepy. I mean, well, not really creepy, but as creepy as you can get for the Game Boy Advance, I think. Anyway, somehow the same lever does two different things. It makes literally no sense. See, what I don't get is, what if you intend to just open this door, but you don't realise that the lever's already been pulled once? In that case, you're going to accidentally tax the rear cars, which might not be what you want to do, instead of doing what you actually intend to do. So, as you might have guessed, since there's a save point there, things are about to get slightly trickier. Not quite yet, but heading that way. See, this is the first time that we've had one of these oversouls. I guess they're kind of the leaders of the dead, and they are the one ghost, I think, that can't be possessed by the other ghosts. And they also seem to have slightly better health, so I don't know if I'm lucky that I haven't needed to use green cherry so far, or not. Presumably these ghosts floating around are the spirits of dead people who are going on this journey. Now, you'd have thought doing this is quite bad for you, but no, actually this is a good idea. You might have thought eating ghost food from creatures that are trying to trap him on the train and destroy him are bad for you, but no, and they seem quite happy to serve you. And yeah, I think Cyber can sometimes not be as cautious as he perhaps should be. So there you go. Seriously, why is this ghost serving him? Now what you have to do here, if I remember correctly, is leave and kind of go around and then go in through the back. Oh, these things are annoying because their attacks are pretty powerful. But they don't last for long. Well, I think they're pretty powerful. I mean, I've been killed fairly easily by them before. Some people might disagree with me. I mean, in the last episode I said ghosts are easy to deal with, and then they killed me. So, the earring, you might remember we've already put one on Tower, and that having a pair makes them more powerful, and that they increase magic. And so because of all of this, I'm going to wait until we get to her, and then I will give her the earring. Of course, it's possible that it's gravity, the gravity attack, that's actually causing them to be hurt like this, to slowly lose somehow. So it is a phenomenally good idea to heal him now. Now I'm going to wait until we get to a suitable point before ending the episode. So we will be going. I will basically wait until we get off there. We leave the train, unless this turns out to take a heck of a lot longer than I'm expecting. This is the only carriage with anything. Well, yeah, this is the only carriage with anything useful in it, and unfortunately, well, you'll see. You may have remembered Siegfried being mentioned before. Okay, you don't need to worry about this guy too much. He's not actually going to hurt you that much, so I doubt I'll be killed by him. As you might have guessed, he's getting a bit old. This guy. It's unfortunate because he's dead, and you would have thought he couldn't get much older, but for some reason there's can't exactly one coin. I'm not really sure why. I'm not even sure. Apparently, Ghost uses the same currency humans do. I would say Nintendo logic, but that seems like everyone says that these days. No, there's nothing in there. I'm not really sure if this counts as being by Nintendo or not. I'm pretty certain they didn't create it. Square Enix created it, so. It doesn't actually matter how long you spend on this train, you never reach the final destination, so maybe that's what's so spooky about it. Just a train journey that goes on forever. And this appears to be a very human conductor here. Rather strange. None of the other cabins have anything in them, as far as I can tell. These ghosts have very strange motives. Obviously some of them are evil, but with some of them it's more complicated. So, yeah, we're getting pretty close to a boss. As I say, things do get a bit trickier. It might be a good idea to use a potion at this point. And at last we reached the front of the train, the engineer's compartment. Alright, this is a bit complicated. I'm not quite sure how I managed to do this last time. It seemed to almost be by accident, so bear with me. Also, these switches aren't labelled, so it's quite hard to tell which is the first and which is the third. Now, I think you do it like this, but if this is wrong, then obviously this is wrong, and I will come back to you once I've managed to get it right. But okay, yes, I've got it right. It would seem that what you have to do is go in there, pull down the first switch, that's the switch to the far left, go out, go back in again, pull the third switch, that's the switch to the far right, and then go out and pull this one next to the smokestack where Sabin is standing. If you just go in and pull both switches at once, nothing happens. The train doesn't stop. So, and here we come up with possibly the strangest boss in the game so far. I'm not quite sure how Sabin and Cyan are managing to run there, and it keeps throwing wheels at you. And yeah, somehow just hitting the train damages it. Not quite sure how that would work since it's made of metal. Or presumably it's made of metal. I mean, I don't know. It could be made of something different. Fortunately, I don't think it has a lot of health, so this attack's quite annoying. But I think I've run out of... no, not quite. It's changed me into a thing. That's why I can't use Blitz anymore. Yeah, it seems to have altered my state as well. I've probably been changed into an imp, although it did look quite like I've been changed into a duck. And yet I am mysteriously not a duck when I'm not battling. I have quite an annoying problem with my computer at the moment, or as far as I can tell I do. I've done some things to try to fix it, but that's I've got normal speakers, but I've also got a device that I plug into that looks like a bigger speaker. I think it's called a subwoofer. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. I may be good at mispronouncing it. But anyway, it also acts as a speaker, and I don't seem to be getting sound from it. I seem to be getting sound from the other two speakers. Which means, since they connect to it, that obviously it's partially working. It's quite hard for me to tell if I fixed it completely or not, but I don't think I have, and if anyone has any advice for that, that would be quite helpful. I do thank you for your "that's a nice video, mate" comments, but yeah, it's quite annoying, and it seems to have happened immediately after I updated Windows 10. There's a new Windows 10 build, so basically the entire thing kind of updated itself in a really big way. And since that, I seem to have had the problem, although that doesn't mean it's necessarily a problem with the build. It might be a physical problem, in which case I'm just going to have to replace the subwoofer. Anyway, it's got nothing to do with the game. I'm just making conversation, I guess. Yes, the train seems to have moved us back to one of the carriages instead of the engineer's compartment. It's all the people in Dover Castle who died. I suppose that makes sense. It does take people to their final destination. Yep. I think it's good that she said that. If I hadn't said anything to him, he would feel much worse. Well, that's just how things are, I suppose. I wonder if they'll become those floating ghosts now. Yeah, Cyan doesn't say anything here, he doesn't need to. He looks so sad. He does kind of join you again here, but... Okay, yes, I think it's finally time to use a green cherry. But, you know what? As well as that, in a minute, I'm going to use a tent. Haven't used any so far. So... And, I think something has happened to Cyan as well. But... Is it darkness? Yes, it's darkness. Okay, I'm going to show you how to use a tent. Well, I could use a sleeping bag, but I would have to be using 2. So, basically a tent acts like a bed, so you can which you would normally find in a town, so it fully restores MP and HP, and that's it for this episode. I will see you next time.